We have a live update for our members from the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals in downtown Chicago. I'm going to bring in Alex on our feed here momentarily. Alex has been there in court all day today on behalf of AFA members in Illinois, but also across America as we fight to overturn unconstitutional assault weapons bans in federal court. Because again, what happens in Illinois echoes across the country. That's why we're fighting so hard to deal with the Illinois situations. I'm going to bring Alex on here in a moment. He was asked to move by court security further away from the courthouse. He is getting repositioned right now, and we're going to give you guys an update live on the ground in Chicago once I can get the button here to work. So stand by. And again, if you're getting signed on right now, this is a live update from Circuit Court, 7th Circuit, downtown Chicago, as AFA fights to invalidate and overturn the assault weapons ban, so-called, that was recently passed in the state of Illinois. I'm going to bring in Alex from our team. Give me 1 second. Did you get moved okay, Alex?
And I think I'm good now. If you see someone rushing behind me, please let me know.
I will. You like being in Chicago with no firearms? I'm sure it's...
I am in occupied territory. There is no doubt about that.
Okay, so you've been there all day, Alex, in court, because as everyone probably knows across America, Governor Jay Pritzker, and I use the word Pritzker instead of Pritzker, signed an assault weapons ban, so-called, earlier this year, banning the AR-15 and about 100 similar design firearms. And our purpose, our thought here is very simple. What happens in Illinois has ramifications for gun owners across America. What happened today in Circuit Court? And before we do that, I just want to kind of mention to our members the way this works. You have the district court level, which has already heard various lawsuits about the AR-15 ban, the AW ban. But this court today, Alex, you were in Circuit Court, which is where all the appeals are heard. What happened today in court?
So there were oral arguments today, both for and against upholding Pritzker's so-called assault weapons ban. And, you know, we knew it was not going to be friendly territory to be in, but still, we wanted to know what in the world the radical left was thinking trying to ban so-called assault weapons after the Bruen decision of last summer. How could they possibly think they have a leg to stand on? So today in the 7th Circuit was the first time that we got to see a peek of their cards as they appeal, you know, the lawsuits to strike down this assault weapons ban. And frankly, they didn't have very good arguments. All they could come back to was, you know, this gun wasn't around when the Constitution was written. It wasn't in common use, and it's the preferred gun of madmen. And so, frankly, for the few, well, why would you? For the couple, for those who are, you know, attacked with these firearms, we should take them away from the millions and millions of law-abiding gun owners that own them. And frankly, the judges kind of laughed at that argument because they said, you know, that this doesn't hold up historically, as none of the technology we have today would stand up to a historical analysis. And so they kind of laughed at him and said, this doesn't really work. I also found out that they think that 5% of ARs, 5% of all guns in the United States are ARs, and they're only owned by 2%. I guess I feel like I'm finally one of the 1%ers because I feel like I don't know where their numbers come from, but those seem low. And again, it just came down to the argument of, do you think M16 should be legalized or not? And I almost had to get pushed back down in my chair by the marshals when I wanted to just jump up like, yes, throw out the NFA.
Well, the whole idea, this argument is as old as they come, because the issue has never been about the technology and use. The Second Amendment guarantees the right to keep and bear arms, the arms of the day. And so the arm of the day in the Revolutionary War, as we all know, was a musket, a flintlock musket. And our founding fathers, our forefathers, used the musket to spark a revolution, defend our country from from European tyranny. You having problems? Must you go, Alex? Are you okay?
No, I'm good. I just hit mute because there was another ambulance going to a.
Okay, that's fine. So the issue has never been about the technology. The issue has always been about the right. And the right back then was a musket. The right today is a machine gun or in this case, an AR-15. So it's an old argument. I'm happy the judges kind of laughed at that. How many judges today did you, go ahead and continue.
Well, just another argument that the first attorney for the state was bringing up was also the magazine limit, capacity limit. And, there's no need for 30 rounds. And one of the other justices said, like, so you think 10 rounds would be okay? Yes. Well, where do you find that historically?
Right.
Where did we have any magazine-fed guns when the Constitution was written like this, that took cartridges? And they did not have an answer for that.
Well, that's a great concept, Alex, because as we all know, with the Bruen decision, Clarence Thomas did away with means into scrutiny. And that old standard allowed the judges, like the one you heard today in Chicago, say, well, you should have 10, not 11, and not 9, but 10. And that was allowed prior to Bruen because the judges were allowed to weigh your gun rights with the needs of public safety. With the end of means in scrutiny after Bruen, the judges have lost that ability. They have got to find an objective standard. So I'm glad the other judge pushed back and said, where do you find that in history?
Exactly. And his conclusion to that line of questioning was, you're trying to go through the back door. What the Supreme Court just said is not allowed through the front door. Like, so why do you think you can hold this? But here's something else. Just the radical left and how much they hate us is her final concluding argument was that self-defense is not, what did she say here? The core right is for self-defense. Self-defense is not an unlimited right. We do not have an unlimited means by which we can defend ourselves. And the judge, the moment we start trying to define what is sufficient force to defend ourselves, that is simply not going to fly. Because I do have an unlimited right. I have the right to use whatever means are necessary to defend my life and my family.
These people are amazing. That the left's arrogance is literally limitless, and there is nothing they will not do to try to shut our gun rights down. So, Alex, am I correct? Today was a 3-judge panel. This was not an en banc hearing. It was just 3 judges, right?
Correct.
Okay, and so from here, do you have any idea? I know that they will never give you a definitive timeline, but any guesstimate right now on when we can get a response from the 7th Circuit?
So I did hear a sentence said in the arguments by one of the judges is that they're waiting for the 5th Circuit's appeal of the bump stock ban to the Supreme Court. And they said that we're going to have to weigh our decision against this. We're going to have to weigh our decision against whatever the Supreme Court says about the 5th Circuit and the bump stock, not the pistol brace, but the bump stock.
Okay.
So no, they didn't give any inclination. But I mean, I forgot to mention this. I got to sit right across from the America-hating fiend, Attorney General Raul, came and sat in the front center seat, sat right there as a means to just basically intimidate everybody that he is here to see through this armament of the American people. And so the gravity around him and what he brought to this made it abundantly clear that there is only one way that this hearing, that this case ends, and that's going to be at the Supreme Court.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think that all these things, whether it's pistol braces, bump stocks, so-called assault weapons bans, they are all of them going to head back up to the Supreme Court. I think it's important for everyone to kind of keep that in the back of your minds, that whether we win, lose, or tie, and there's no tying in federal court, but whether we win or lose in the 7th Circuit, this is a necessary step to get these cases elevated to be heard by the United States Supreme Court. And that's where I think a lot of these cases are going to end up. I know we had that same experience.
And honestly, that's best case, because the clarification coming from the Supreme Court, the more they keep having to close down loopholes like they did after Keller, then they had to do the Bruen. And so then, be it this one or the pistol brace ban, they're going to continue to choke out the left to say what you can and cannot.
Exactly, because along the way, as lower courts like these circuits apply Bruen, you're going to have some that do it in good faith, and you're going to have some radical leftist judges who fight that all the way to the end. And so it will take Clarence Thomas's pen, to shut these people down and to apply Bruen the way it was meant to be applied when it came out just last year, right about 53 weeks ago or something from right now. So interesting enough, Alex, we also today have Patrick Parsons, our president, on the ground in New Orleans in the 5th Circuit as we battle to overturn Biden's pistol brace ban as well. We hope to hear from him later on yet today. I, of course, had to miss being with you in Chicago due to all the airlines shutting down yesterday.
Yeah.
But I'm in a much safer environment than you are in downtown Chicago.
No kidding.
So guys,
No kidding.
all of this is happening with your generosity, your support. You can see all of our amicus briefs, all of our lawsuits right there on our website. This one is there. Our Fifth Circuit case is there. Go right there to read them all. If you're curious, whatever else you do, stay involved in this fight. It takes money to fight in federal court. It takes money to fight in Congress. Stay involved in that fight. We have links above there. You guys can donate to help us in our legal fighting right now across the country. Stay involved. Share our video, guys. We'll have more information coming very shortly. Take care and stay free.